All right. We will now convene the June 11, 2024 special magistrate proceedings for the city of Daytona Beach. At the outset, I have reviewed and approved and now executed the minutes for our April 12, 2024 meeting and our May 14, 2024 meeting. Do we have any announcements before I go any further?
Yes, sir. Starting on page 3, case number 7, SMG 06-24-96, Bellevue Avenue parcel is in compliance, 6/11/24. Page number 4, case number 11, SMG 06-24-103, Madison Avenue parcel is in compliance, 6/7/24. Same page, case number 12, SMG 06-24-105, the North Seagrave Street parcel, compliance 6/7/24. Page number 7, case number 23, SMG 05-24-91, Marion Street parcel is in compliance.
Okay, I'm sorry, what was that case number again?
Case number 23 on page number 7,
Got you.
SMG 05-24-91, Marion Street parcel is in compliance 6/10/24.
Okay.
That's it.
Will all those representatives for the city of Daytona Beach who will be testifying at this morning's proceedings, please stand and be sworn.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Thank you.
All right, it's my understanding we have an agreement as to one of these matters, so I'm going to go to lien review number 1, William Murray, Gary Groves, and Tracy Sawyer, 731 Mulberry Street. Is there anyone here on behalf of the applicant?
You can go over to the other,
Got a spot right here
Yeah.
for you.
Okay, this is a lien review request on an order imposing fine and a lien. And it's my understanding the parties have come to an agreement to resolve this. Is that right, Mr. Inspector?
Yes, sir.
What is the agreement?
Agreed upon,
Your understanding of it.
we did have a meeting and we came to the agreement of $1,500.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. If you would please state your name and be
Oh,
sworn.
I'm sorry. I'm Jean Spini. Mr. Murray cannot be here today.
ma'am, I need to swear you in.
I'm sorry. Oh, okay.
You swear you affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, you were saying?
Oh, I have a notary. So you're not representing today. He could not be here
Okay. It's my understanding, what did you say, $1,500?
Yes, sir.
It's my understanding the respondent, or the applicant in this case, when it comes to a lien review request, has agreed to pay $1,500 to satisfy this lien?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and you're authorized to speak on his behalf.
Yes.
All right, city okay?
Yeah, if I could just have that authorization, we'll put that in the record.
All right, then I will go ahead and approve the settlement that has been worked out between the city and the property owner, and I will agree to reduce the order imposing fine lien from its current amount down to the sum of $1,500, subject to being paid within 30 days. If it's not paid within 30 days, it remains the same. Nothing
Right.
changes. Okay, and if for some reason you come up short on that payment date, if you'll contact the city attorney, the city will see what they can do to perhaps help, but that 30 days is important.
Yes. Yes,
All right,
sir.
very
Thank you
good.
very much.
Thank you for your efforts, and good luck to you. Case number 1, Kumarasan Natarajan and Umashankari Santhan Evalu. I think I did a pretty good job there.
Oh, you did.
Did I? I think I did. All right. Yes, ma'am, if you would please state your name and be sworn.
Yeah, my name is Uma Shankari Santanavelu.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, do you agree these violations existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
Yeah, it did exist, and we have addressed most of it, and I have evidence for that, for all the cleaning and paint work and all that. We had two tenants who were constantly not abiding the rules, and one be evicted last week, and we have fixed most of the issues except for the plumbing, which is after the fact. The previous property owner had done plumbing work and without a permit. So I am working with a plumber, and most probably I got an appointment for next week. So that is work in progress. Other than that, we have fixed all of the issues here.
All right. First off, I find the respondent in noncompliance. Mr. Inspector, based upon your last inspection, how much time should reasonably be required for these respondents to come into compliance?
By the next cutoff.
Our inspector is thinking you ought to have whatever work needs to be done by July 3, 2024. What say you to that?
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, what? Yeah, you'll think you'll have it done by July 3?
All others are completed except for plumbing. So
You got your plumber lined up?
for next week, yes, but
Okay, so you're telling me you think you've got everything taken care of except the plumbing, and you've got a plumber scheduled to come?
yes.
Okay,
Or can I
Because-
get a 1 more month time just in case if that cannot be done, because we need to apply to the city for the permit. I'm not sure
you
how.
need to do what now?
Apply for the permit with the city office. I'm not
So
sure.
you don't have a permit for the plumbing yet?
No.
Okay. Have you already gotten all the permits you need to do whatever you've done to date?
Yeah, all others we do. For the plumbing, I don't have. Need to apply for that. And I'm
Is
not
this
sure.
property occupied at present?
It has 3 units. One is vacant and 2 others are occupied.
And is the vacant unit the one that needs the work?
No,
Or is it all three of them?
all 3 of them.
Okay. So you have to get your plumbing permit and you have to get your plumber in there.
Yes,
Has your plumber already applied for the permit?
not yet. Because this is after the fact, so he was saying he needs to do the work, redo the work, and then apply for permit.
That sure doesn't sound right.
Oh.
Mr. Inspector, is that making any sense to you?
This particular property has 2 structures on it. The front structure, I'm assuming, is now vacant. That's where the parking and the junk vehicle issues were coming from. They should be able to get it done. It should be able to be done because the work is already done. All they need is a plumber to come in there and, I guess, do whatever they have to do in the back, obviously with the permit, and have it inspected. They should be able to make this happen.
By July, I'm not pretty sure. I have an appointment next week. He said he needs to redo the plumbing. I'm not sure how much work that is. And then to apply for a permit, not clear how long will it take to get the permit.
Okay, and you're telling me the only thing left to be done is the plumbing.
Yes,
Does that sound about right to you, Mr. Inspector?
Yes, sir. Obviously, the permit's going to have to be obtained before the work is done.
I understand. All right. All right, then I'm going to go ahead and give you till August 7 of 2024 to come into compliance.
all right.
Okay, because I'm going to give you the extra time out of a abundance of caution, and I'm only doing so because you've done as much work as you tell me you've done already.
Yes.
So that having been said, I will order the respondent to come into compliance by August 7, 2024, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. If you run into any delays along the way, my recommendation is you let your inspector know exactly what's going on,
All right.
rather than try to explain why you're late or why you haven't come into compliance. Okay, good luck to you.
Thank you so
You're welcome.
much.
Case number 2, Argogio LLC.
Good morning.
We just started. No, you're-
All right, so for whoever's going to be talking, we need you sworn, unless you're an attorney.
Ma'am, state your name. State your name.
Vern Weatherholt.
I'm sorry, Vern.
Vernon, V-E-R-N-O-N, Weatherholt, W-E-A-T-H-E-R-H-O-L-T.
Is she going to be speaking? Or is she an attorney?
She is the owner.
I'm the owner.
Okay, you want to state your name?
Giovanna Calambrosio Argote.
Okay, well, we'll get that in a minute. Raise your right hand. You, both of you need to be sworn in. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Do.
Thank you.
Well, I think this time I'm going to start with our inspector. What are we talking about here? No active permit. What does that mean?
Yes, Mark Jones, Field Supervisor with the City of Daytona. My credentials are in file. This case was a field-generated case for an interior remodel without a permit. They had a contractor. The contractor had his permit, requested to have his permit pulled, and the stop work order was placed on the property. The stop work order and first notice were posted on February 2nd, 2024. They were supposed to be in compliance by February 15th, 2024. There's been no new permit application received that I could locate in our IMS system. Staff is recommending a finding of noncompliance with compliance due next cutoff.
All right. You're the owner,
Yes.
and who are you?
I'm the general contractor that's
Okay.
just recently been hired.
Right? Are we in agreement this violation existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
Yes.
All right, then I find the respondent in noncompliance. And the city seems to be of the opinion that this could be rectified by the next cutoff, which would be July 3, 2024. I don't quite have an idea as to how much that entails, but what say y'all to that?
I'd like to speak on that if you would, sir.
Go
I've
ahead.
just been hired from the owner. I'm well versed in the permitting process here in Daytona. Sometimes it's a little labored. If we could get an extension on that, I'm sure we'll have it by then. We have a set of plans that that the owner has. She engaged a architect in Orlando 6 months ago to get the plans. And in my opinion, they're insufficient for the data that the city likes on their plans, so we're going to have them redrawn by a local architect. And I think we can get this done. There was some things that need to be addressed, but I'm working on getting a new proposal for all new contractors, subcontractors. And if we could get possibly a month more.
Okay, well, I've got a soft spot for people that make things bigger, better, faster, and right. So I don't have a problem with any of that. City have any problem with that?
No, sir.
Of course, we understand the building won't be utilized or occupied in the interim, but I don't suppose it would be anyway.
One thing I'd like to add to it, this is on Seabreeze, the entertainment zone.
Yes, sir, it is.
And this is going to be a ice cream parlor
Cafe.
or cafe, excuse me. And I think it's going to be, I've said on many meetings, I've been on Code Enforcement Board. I was on the Building Board. I'm now on the Beachside Redevelopment Board, and I'm also on the Planning and Zoning Board. So I think that it's going to be a welcome for all of the meetings I've talked to with the city manager and the mayor for over the years here in the city, and I think it's going to be a vast improvement for the downtown area.
Glad to hear it. Music to my ears. So what did we end up? Looking for August 7th? Is that what we're talking about here?
Yes, sir.
All right. If I haven't already, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by August 7, 2024, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. All right, good luck to y'all.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
very much.
Case number 3.
I wanted, can I give him that?
Yeah, we'd like to just show you a
Just to
rendering
give you a
of
little
what the
idea,
plan
I've
is.
said on so many redevelopment areas, this is what she's planning.
So this is east of Sussman's. Looks nice. Very good. Good luck to y'all.
I do have one question.
Yeah.
I do have,
Get rid of all those bars across the street?
you know,
No.
they may just change their ways.
Sorry, I opened my mouth already.
I have an awning permit that has been put on hold because a asbestos assessment was sent to the state, and we have not received word on that, which is another reason we haven't attempted to pull our build-out permit, because we were asked to wait until we got a response from the state from our asbestos report. And secondly, I also have a signage permit that I told them not to submit since my awning permit has been on hold. So is there a way I can push forward at least my awning permit and my signage permit?
That would be up to the permitting department. That really is not code-related.
Well, from an enforcement perspective.
For an enforcement perspective, we were talking about the interior build-out that was being done without a permit.
We're all here. Do we know the answer to the question anyway?
I would be thinking the answer is that she will have to wait, but I don't know that. I don't know enough. And I'm just thinking from what Mr. Weatherholt said about doing additional plans and other things that's all related to the overall project.
We have the plans, the specs and everything for the awning. If you like, I can talk to the building official and get an answer from him. He would be the one that,
Yeah, if I can make myself clear, I'm not making a decision. I don't make that kind of decision, so that's correct.
Good luck. I
Building
guess it's
official.
over our pay grade.
I mean, I know Mr. Jackson and,
And thank you, Mr. Weatherholt.
All right, good
Got
luck
me
to
out
you.
of that.
thank you.
It was worth a try. Thank you so much.
Case number 3, 322 Daytona Beach LLC. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
This was a field-generated case open for exterior doors replaced without a permit and an unsecured refrigerator. The refrigerator has been removed. The first notice was posted on February 8th, 2024. Compliance was due February 19th, 2024. The permit for the doors, the after-the-fact permit, was issued yesterday, June 10th, 2024. Staff recommends a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
What is the permit for?
The two doors that you see right there, the steel doors, they replaced those without getting a permit. They've now have the after-the-fact permit, and all they need to do now is call for the inspection. I have talked with the property owner yesterday. and they feel confident they'll be able to get it done by the next cutoff.
Okay, noting the absence of the respondent based upon our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent to be in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by July 3, 2024, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 4, 811 Tomoka Road, LLC. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Morning.
State your name for the record.
Elliot Meadows.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Jones.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
Yes, sir. Your affiliation with 811 Tomoka Road, LLC?
I'm the sole owner.
All right. Do you agree these violations existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
No, sir.
All right. Mr. Inspector, what are the violations? And what can you tell me about it?
This is a complaint-driven case for not having a permit to convert an unfinished carport utility shed into a residential living space without a permit. Other violations were found outside storage and fencing, which is now in compliance. The first notice was posted on March 15th, 2024, with compliance due April 15th, 2024. I've been in communication with the permitting department, and there's been no permit application applied for. Staff recommends a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
All right, so the outside storage has been resolved?
Yes, sir.
Does that include the storage container?
Yes, sir.
And the damaged fencing has been resolved?
Yes.
All right, now explain to me one more time what it is we need the permit for again? What was done?
Originally, this was a storage shed that has somewhere during
I disagree with that.
All right, just a second.
Sorry, sir.
Don't interrupt him.
Per the
My apologies.
Volusia County property records, this was a carport storage shed on this property. When the complaint came in from the city to investigate this, it was found that it had been converted into a residential home without a permit, and as you can see, it was even up for sale at the time.
Now, I'm looking at a photograph here. What's up for sale?
That
The
building
structure to the
straight,
left?
yeah, the structure straight back in.
Is that the carport?
That was
storage
the
shed?
carport storage shed per Volusia County when this case was opened. It again came from the building department. I've had numerous conversations with them, and they have no records of this ever being converted into a residential living space.
And that is what needs to be remedied?
Yes, sir.
And the remedy is what?
They would need to get a after-the-fact permit to make this into a residential living space. I'm not sure what other development approvals would be required to do that.
Okay, is this structure on like its own lot, or is this a part of a larger lot?
It appears it may have one time been part of a larger lot. This parcel is a separate parcel. It was hard to find out going back to the records whether this was part of a larger parcel. That's why it was a storage shed and carport. But presently it is that is a parcel, but with the ownership of by this respondent.
Okay, how many square feet are in that structure?
I don't know. Again, there's been no permits. There's nothing on file as to what, and as you can see, it was posted that I could not go onto the property.
Okay.
Would you mind if I
All right,
gave you a
let's say
quick
the
history?
respondent.
I just want to give you a quick history. So that building was built in 1948. I bought this property from the original owners who actually built that built that structure. They own that entire corner on Center Street, which was 200 Center Street, which is a corner house, the little house next to it, the acre and a half next to that. Now, it's really hard to see in this picture, but where the young woman is walking up the driveway, that's actually an easement that goes back to another lot that they owned that used to have a Jim Walker house on it that was subsequently torn down. This house to the right where you see this, the workers with the trucks and stuff, that used to be part of the property also. So, you know, the city is kind of, they're in a pickle right now because this is what happened. 4 years ago when I bought this place, I own a construction company. I own a general contracting business. I bought that place because that was W.A. Long and Sons office building and where they let their workers live. Since 1955.
They let their workers live?
Yeah, it's a 2-bedroom apartment in the back. In this front, that front window that you see is actually a living room that has a bathroom to the left and a kitchen off to the left. There's 2 large bedrooms in the back. Since 1955, they've housed workers there and had that whole entire back lot filled with, you know, stucco materials, scaffolding, all sorts of debris and whatnot. So when I purchased that entire 5-acre parcel from the original homeowners, the husband had passed away, and in 2020, W.A. Long and Sons.
You say the original homeowners. Where was the original homeowner's home?
You can't see it in this picture. It's to the right on the corner, about 500 feet to the east of this. So you can't see it. It's not shown here. See the green sheds behind the young woman?
The home and that structure are both on the same parcel?
There's actually 4 parcels that I own on this corner. This little house itself, the address is 610 and a half Brentwood. That's what the actual address is per the post office. Now, it has its own specific parcel number. The woman that I spoke to at the city, I can't remember her name at this point. What was her name?
Kim Flaherty?
Yeah, Kim Flaherty. So Kim Flaherty misinterpreted what she saw when she was looking at this. She misinterpreted what she saw. There's an additional lot behind this giant oak tree that she says, well, that's always been a vacant lot, Elliot. And I said, well, actually, there was a Jim Walker home on it. Well, she thinks that lot, the vacant lot, is the lot that this little house is on. She doesn't understand what she was looking at. So I tried to explain to her, actually, no, this is the parcel that has a home on it. Now, the rule is, and everybody knows this, you can't have an accessory structure without a primary. I'll know that. So they're trying to say that this was just some sort of an accessory structure. However, it was not. Since 1955, there's been a 2-bedroom apartment. Now, moreover, since 2020, when I purchased this.
Since 1955, has it been an illegal apartment?
No, this is
Why
what it's
not?
been. It's been a dwelling that they've worked out of. They had their home
That
office.
doesn't tell me whether it's legal or not legal. It tells me what it was used for.
Well, in 1955, there was no legal or unlegal. I mean, the guy,
So the answer is you don't know.
well, it's a concrete block structure.
I can see that.
It's
And it sure looks like an accessory structure.
however, this,
Somebody converted
well, there's a
to a
bad,
home
you
or a
can't,
residential
you,
use.
Your Honor, that's not correct. Behind, if he would have got a picture from east looking this way, you would see the home itself, the concrete block home. To the right of the home, there are 2 garages that are, you know, like wooden door, pull your car in garages. Those are the shed garage structures that he's talking about. That concrete block structure, that white home right there that you're looking at, is a 2-bedroom home. Now, this is what I asked Mark to do. I said, Mark, I know that I've complied on all the exterior stuff. I said, will you please come into the interior of the home and take some pictures for this meeting? Mark said, no, sir, I cannot do that.
Okay, I'll take your word for it that it's a home.
Well,
I
but,
don't understand why it's there.
well,
It doesn't look right.
well, there's,
All I'm hearing is there's a mix of different parcels there.
well, there's
So
homes.
this is really a standalone home.
No, sir.
Unto itself, and it's sounding to me like originally it was an accessory structure to a home that was elsewhere.
Well, no,
in
there's
any
homes,
event.
if you can't really see the picture here, but, you know, 25 feet to the left of this structure is another single-family residence. Next to this white truck in the picture, there's another single-family residence. They're all single-family residences on the street, period. So when I purchased it, I wanted to make it my construction building and work my construction company out of it. The city of Daytona and the permits and licensing would not let me. They said, no, Elliot, it has to remain a single-family residence. I was upset. I fought with them.
They tell you this has to remain a single family.
This has to remain a single-family residence. I was upset. I fought with them. So what did I do? I moved my uncle and my cousins in there. He just had hip surgery, blah, blah, blah. So they've been living there literally for almost 4 years now. We put the place up for sale because my uncle's grandson is coming to live with him, so we're going to sell that and get him a 3-bedroom instead of a 2-bedroom. So that's why the property's up for sale. But in the meantime, The lady who was across the street wanted to buy it, and I told her it's 169,000. She says, "Oh, it's only worth 129." We went back and forth. She didn't negotiate up to 169. Instead, she called code enforcement on me and said I made it an illegal dwelling. Now, for the last 4 years, you can check the water. Since W.A. Long and Sons sold it to me, we've had people in there. Either my cousin, my uncle, my dad, my brother. There's been people living there. You can check the water. Now, even before that, now 2020, all the way back to before City of Daytona even keeps records, W.A. Long and Sons had people living in that dwelling and used the 2 sheds behind it and the almost half an acre that was behind it as, they worked and lived. And in the morning, they woke up and they left. Now, where those green sheds are behind that lady's head, there was a mobile home, a manufactured home on that property where more workers lived. That was a place where they housed workers and worked. So I tried to tell Kim, I said, "Kim, just check the water bills." And she says, "Well, I see that W.A. Long and Sons was a business there."
Just stop.
Okay.
Okay, did we not have building permits for homes back in 1955?
I cannot speak to that. I honestly don't know in 1955.
What is the actual violation that he's being cited for?
Violation is, per the Volusia County Property Assessor, showing those storage sheds on the parcel was the violation came from, it was not a complaint from a neighbor across the street, it literally came from City Hall for converting,
City Hall, what City Hall?
from the Permits and Licensing Department
Here.
at the City of Daytona.
Okay, so Daytona's Permits and Licensing Department is saying what about that structure?
It needs a after-the-fact permit to be a residential home because it was never considered a residential home in any of their records.
Okay, and we have testimony here that I don't hear anybody refuting, that it's been utilized as a residence for decades.
Well, I have no documentation. I'm not sure where he got his documentation. That has never been presented.
I've got leases.
Okay,
I apologize.
all right, what were you saying now?
Well, I just do not have any documentation that this was ever a residential home. And researching it through the Permits and Licensing Department, they have no records in development or in permits and licensing that this was ever approved for a single-family residence on this vacant parcel. That's what the that's what the property appraiser, when this property was cited, that's what it was considered on the property appraiser's book as a vacant parcel with these 2 structures.
Okay, did I understand you to say you tried to do something else with the property, only to be told by the city you couldn't do it because you had a residential unit on the property?
Yes, sir. They
Who
say
told you that?
that was the woman that does the business tax receipts on the left side when you walk into the building department there behind the glass. I do not know her name, sir, but I will tell you one thing. Sir, if you could
Okay,
check,
so if this person over there is telling him this is a residence,
single family.
and you're telling me it's not a residence,
Well, if he went to to get a license for a business tax receipt license, they would have looked up this general area, and you cannot have a construction business in this area. It's an SR5 area. They would not have been able to run a business out of any location,
what's an SR5? Is that right?
single-family residence.
Okay.
And so they wouldn't have gone, I do not know what kind of research they would have done except to say that this is for single families only, not a commercial business. And that's what they do. That's just the business tax office is what he's referring to.
So, Your Honor, when I went there, she said, "No, Elliot," and I've been doing business in the city many, many years. She said, "No, Elliot, you cannot have your business out of that. It must remain a single-family residence." My wife was standing next to me. She was mad that I even bought the place and basically said, "Well, now what are you going to do with it?" And I said, "Well, I don't know." And I asked the lady, I said, "What can I do with it?" She said, "Well, if you want to, you can rent it if you go apply for a rental license down at this other building in Daytona." And I looked at my wife and I said, "I don't think I'm going to do that." So we painted the outside, made it look beautiful, put new wood floors on the inside, painted the inside, put some new window unit ACs in it, and then moved my uncle in. So, and that was
Have you been
almost,
paying property taxes on this thing as if
yes,
it's
sir.
a home?
Yes, sir. And that was almost 4
How
years
many
ago.
years?
Since 4 years now. I bought it 4 years ago. Now, this is the interesting
Okay,
thing.
all right, stop. So, I'm not understanding the city's right to do anything here just yet. So somebody want to explain it to me?
Well, all I can say is,
Let me tell you what I understand.
okay,
I understand it's a residential area. I understand it's zoned residential. I understand if it's zoned residential, you can't put a business in there. That part I understand. Okay? The remark about how there's a residence on there already, okay, that's curious. But the point is, what I'm hearing is testimony and treatment of this property by the city as a residence for a long, long time. And now the city disputes the propriety of it being there.
I would
Because
have,
they can't find a permit going back to 1955.
I would have to go back through the records further, sir. Number one, I'd need to go back through Volusia County property appraisers to see, he's stated that he's paying taxes on it as a single-family home. Per the tax records, it showed it was a vacant parcel. Per the city's records, they show it as a vacant parcel, per permits and licensing. So I would have to do some additional research to check Volusia County records passed through the last few years.
I mean, hypothetically, I understand that every home you would expect would have a building permit sitting here at the city hall. What do you do in those circumstances where you have a home and there is no building permit? I mean, obviously it exists. And I'm not saying anybody gets slapped on the wrist and it's acceptable. I mean, I assume it has to be rectified. But is there a process, or is this, I can't imagine this is new territory.
No, it's not new territory, Mr. Calger. We've had these situations come up before. It's the, with any permit, it's the owner or applicant who's responsible for that record, ultimately. The city has a certain time period that they hold on to records, but they don't hold on to records forever and ever. Now, if there's a dispute, obviously, you're gonna look at the factual issues, just as you're doing. However, the question here is not how it's been used, but whether the use was a lawful use in terms of permitting. And there's nothing that says that this was a lawful use. So even if it's non-conforming use, it wasn't lawful. The statement.
Has this property always been residential? Or was there a time when it was?
Well, as it was responded to, this used to be a very large parcel
Right?
that had a house.
No, that's not right. It was never a very large
Okay,
parcel.
just a second.
He's just incorrect, sir. I don't want there to be falsities.
You know, if you don't shut up, I'm gonna have you hauled out of here. And I am making more progress for you all by myself.
I'm sorry.
When you're quiet.
Sorry. Apologize.
Go ahead.
From what we could see from the records that we had, this was a vacant parcel. It was these tube sheds were an accessory structure to a permanent structure back, I presume, years ago. When it was subdivided, I presume someone in Volusia County made a decision. They have this and the parcel that he refers to in the back as vacant parcels. The record showed that this was a storage shed. We could not find any records within the city that stated that this was ever an approved use. And of course, with it being a residence, and especially with it being for sale and not having been through the permitting department process, the concern was, is it a livable family home? I have no idea.
Well, it would appear that, and I'm just speculating, at some point, somebody decided to start using it for residential purposes, God knows when. And it's been utilized for that purpose for some time. Now, I don't know that like grandfathers anything in, and to be honest, I doubt that it does, because the city's building and zoning ordinances concern itself with the current use of properties. And that concern doesn't stop with whenever something arises or begins. That's a continuous obligation. So the city would still have a current interest in wanting to make sure that it satisfies all the residential requirements of every other residence in Volusia County. I'm assuming that much is true.
Yeah, I agree, Mr.
And what is the relief the city's looking for? They want a permit
Yes,
to the fact for that structure.
it states that it is approved for a residential home.
Okay. And your objection to that is what?
Well, they want this 1955 home to come up to the standards of today when, first off,
Well, see, that's another topic for another day.
but you can't get a permit because but what Kim Flaherty says was, well, it doesn't meet the side setbacks for the yard.
Okay, again, that is another conversation for another day. I understand building and zoning ordinances change over time, whether they're going to apply to an existing structure or not. That's a different conversation.
That's where Kim.
I'm not assuming anything. We don't have a baseline yet, basically identifying for us what the areas of deficiency would be between that structure and whatever would be currently expected. And then once we had that, then it might be a matter of needing a variance because of a setback. Or it might be a matter of, I don't know, I don't know. That's another thing altogether anyway. But it seems to me that, I mean, I'm not just gonna bless history going back to 1955 as whether it was right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm not gonna try to understand it. I'm not gonna try to sort it out. The city has an interest in making sure its current use complies with all its building and zoning ordinances. There are things along the way that may have been done to the property that may not qualify now, but that doesn't mean they still wouldn't be allowed now. But my point is, it seems to me as a practical matter, until we have a permit application, we don't know what deficiencies we're dealing with. Until we know what deficiencies we're dealing with, we don't know where we go from there. And for all we know, you know, I don't know, maybe the city's gonna say you can't have it there at all. I don't know. Maybe you're gonna say, all I need is a side yard setback. To which I'd say, go get a side yard setback. But my point is,
Well,
we're not going anywhere until there's a permit application, I'm assuming.
Well, Miss Flaherty thinks that this parcel that we're looking at is the vacant parcel that runs parallel to this parcel, the same length of the property, that had an easement on this driveway to go to the Jim Walker home. She's mistaken, and he just
I don't
said that.
know who this person is, and I don't care what she's thinking.
So Mr. Mr. Jones just said that in the county records, this was a vacant piece of land. They're looking at the piece of
You
property
just told me
right
you're
next to it.
paying property taxes on it.
I'm paying on this one and the one next to it.
Well, don't confuse me with the one next to it, this one.
But he just
You're-
said it was a vacant.
Hang on a second, you're paying property taxes on that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the two of you can yammer all you want. I filter through all the crud and try to get to the bottom line here. And the only thing I'm hearing of any interest on your side is it's a house, it's been used as a house forever, and I'm paying property taxes on it as a house.
Yes, sir.
So leave me alone, okay? They're saying, we don't know that it's a house. We don't have any proof that it ever was a house. We have our suspicions as to how it came about. It shouldn't be there. Okay, those are the two contentions. Now, I'm not gonna be able to make a decision regarding what does or does not need to be done until I know what basis there is for them to be questioning that as a residence at all. You make a permit application. Okay, it's got deficiencies, we talk about the deficiencies.
What I'm confused about is what is supposed to be on the permit application, because I only did paint and flooring in this unit and put in new appliances that were even used. So and new window unit ACs. So I asked her, I said, well, what permit do you want? She says, you have to go to Universal Engineering, an outside third party, and pay money to have them permit this as a brand new home, is what the city told me. And I
Okay,
said,
well, I don't know that, okay, I don't know that that makes any sense.
it doesn't.
I don't know why you can't tell the city, I mean, it's an existing structure. In any event, I'm not in charge of permit applications.
I asked them, where was the proof that I did anything wrong in the first place? I said,
Okay.
well, do you have any pictures or something of this happening or anything that, like, what it was before and now it's this? Because honestly, in 2020, when I bought it, where were they to tell me, don't buy it, Mr. Meadows? Because they said, no, make it a single-family residence. You have to rent it out or have somebody live there and make it a homestead. And I said, okay, I can't have my construction business there. So, I mean, I feel like I'm getting railroaded.
You're not. You've got a complicated property with a long history that may or may not, what's the word I'm looking for? That may or may not, in any event, be at the right place at the right time. Don't know,
Yeah.
and I won't know. And it seems to me as though one thing that is necessary is a determination as to its current legitimacy as a residence. That's all there is to it. And we won't even be able to get started on that process until there's a permit application.
So I actually went down, I asked Mr. Jones to come and inspect it. He said he could not inspect it until the city of Daytona gave him the blessing, even though they're two separate entities. I said, can you please come inspect the inside? He said no. So I went to.
What do you need him to inspect the inside for?
So that you could see that this is an old residence with old stuff that's been there for years and years and years.
I don't care about its age. If it was an Egyptian pyramid and it didn't belong there, I'd tell you to get rid of it.
Okay. All right, well, point taken.
Okay, so in any event, you know, I think you're making more of, well, never mind. I don't know what the process is. An existing structure, you know, I'm not going to tell you what the permit department requires. All I would think is with regard to an existing structure, it'd be a little easier than just than getting, I don't know what you need, an architect or an engineer for anything in that regard, but in any event. But my point is, it looks to me as though somebody's going to need a permit application if the intent is to continue utilizing that as a residential structure. That's all there is to it. And if it's been illegal for 55 years, or kind of illegal, or maybe illegal, I don't care.
Well, it's a single-family residence in a single-family residence zone, so I think that I can use it for that use. Mr. Jackson, don't you think?
Well, it depends. If it was a teepee, the answer would be no.
Point taken.
Okay.
But we
so
know. it's
until
not.
somebody submits a permit application and we see how close we are to blessing the thing, for all I know, we're just wasting our time here.
Can we ask the city to accept a permit application as opposed to me having to pay Universal Engineering, as Ms.
I don't know
Flores
anything
said?
about Universal Engineering.
Third-party outside company called.
I know who they are. I know what they do.
But I don't understand what I'm permitting.
The need for Universal of Engineering, I know nothing about.
Yeah, I don't understand from her. I can't get a straight answer. What do you want me to put as the scope of work for the permit? And after the fact permit for
Scope
what?
of work. I don't know right now that there is any scope of work to be done. What's the deficiency?
That's what I don't understand. I can't get a straight answer from the city. I said, what do you actually want me to permit?
Converting an unfinished carport and utility shed into a residential living unit without a building permit.
But
There's
so-
no dispute that it's a residential living unit. There's no dispute there is no permit.
It's the conversion. It's the conversion portion because like
Well,
nobody.
and we're gracefully overlooking the conversion part because you'd probably lose on that one. So, not right now, the analysis is, all right, what needs to be done to get a permit now to bless this thing as a residential unit?
I'll go pull one right now today. I'll go put an application in downstairs right now if I need to, but
I would urge you to start the application, matter of fact, I'm gonna order you to start the application process, because it looks to me like that's the only way we're gonna get to some resolution here. Now, I don't know enough about all your properties, but I can just see, well, in any event, I can see where it's a confusing bundle of properties, that's all I'm gonna say, and I'll leave it at that. All right.
so could
I do find the respondent in noncompliance. How much time should reasonably be required for the respondent to submit a permit application? That's all we're talking about right now.
By next cutoff.
What say you to that?
Yes, sir. I'll go do it.
All right, I will order the respondent to submit a permit application before July 3, 2024, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter.
Your Honor.
I will then, well, okay.
Could I just ask what the permit application needs to specify on it?
Don't know, can't tell you, never done one. And then we are going to continue the determination of a compliance date to our August 13, 2024 meeting, which should give us, that means your application's been sitting here for a good month by then. And so we will reconvene on August 13th to determine a compliance date, or at least revisit what progress has been made to date. Okay? All right. Good luck, everybody.
Apologies for interrupting so many
No
times.
problem.
I'm just a little bit
I understand.
unnerved with the whole situation.
I understand. All right. You have a good day.
Yes, sir.
Case number 5, Darren Ottman. Not seeing a respondent. What say the city?
This was a citizen's complaint for a residential apartments not having a business tax license. The property was posted on February 27th, 2024. Compliance was due March 8th, 2024. There's been no application received. Staff recommends a finding of noncompliance with compliance due next cutoff.
This was a citizen's complaint
Yes, sir.
that this property owner didn't have a business tax license?
Yes, sir. It's 2 properties. It's that building, and it's 552 and 554 Foot Court.
That's the building which building are we talking about?
Both of them. They're on one parcel.
Okay, noting the absence of a respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by July 3, 2024, or be returned to the special
Only
magistrate.
for the business tax receipt.
Just for business tax receipt.
Okay, so this is only gonna be for the $250
$250 fine.
administrative fine.
Or imposition of the $250 administrative fine for failure to obtain the business tax receipt. Did I say that right?
Yes, it's probably an administrative fee, but yes.
All right. Case number 6, Daytona Universal Trucking Incorporated, 550 Foot Street.
Good morning, Mr. McKeljic. For this case, we would like to postpone this case for the next cutoff to take care of some home, what was it?
Housekeeping
Housekeeping
concerns with service, so.
So what do you want
They're
to
not
just
present.
continue it to the next meeting?
Yeah, if we can continue to the next meeting.
All right, based upon the inspector's request, I will continue this matter to the July 9, 2024 meeting. We've already done, our case 7 is in compliance. Case number 8, Plinio A. Sepulveda Torres. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, this was a citizen's complaint opened on February 23rd of 2024, overgrown vacant lot, trash and debris. First notification was on March 20th. Property was posted. Compliance was due by March 31st. Last day of reinspection was June 10th. The result, non-compliance. There's been no contact from the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by July 3, 2024, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Okay, I'm lost here. Did we do case 6?
That was the one we continued.
Okay, I'm sorry. Here we go. It's that short-term memory problem. Case number 9, Rose M. Tompert. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, this case was field generated, opened on April 16th of 2024. What we have is outside storage of tarps, tents, pallets, bikes, trash and debris. Pretty much it's like a outside home going on. First notification was on April 17th. Property was posted. Compliance was due by April 27th. Last day of reinspection was June 3rd. Result non-compliance. There's no contact from the owner. I have spoken to the person that's living on the lot, and he says it's his mother's property and he's gonna live there. Staff requests finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent based upon our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by July 3, 2024, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 10, Barbara A. Moyer. All right, folks, if you would please state your names.
Barbara Moyer.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Moyer, do you agree this violation existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
Well, I'm gonna let Tom talk on that.
All right,
I'm the one that did the work there.
okay.
And we removed some debris and bushes, shrubs, some small trees. And when we were finished, we hauled it all the way to the dump. I've got receipts for 12,000 or 12 tons worth of work that was taken off the property. We cleaned it up. It wasn't perfect, but there was some, that's the stuff from the city, and we took it, we cleaned it up pretty good. I saw the stop work order, and so we stopped. The property next to the left was cleared out, and some of that, you can see it cleared away there now, and some of their debris was pushed into the property, and I have pictures of that being pushed over. It was left on the property, wasn't ours, and at the time we were done, we hauled it all away. There's still some stuff there right now that needs to be hauled away, but it wasn't ours in the beginning. It was pushed from the lot next door. Don't know who cleaned the property up next door. That's not part of my problem. My problem is we cleaned the property up pretty good, and we were told to stop. We did stop, and now we're told we're in non-compliance. Not sure why.
You did apply for an after
Oh,
work.
we did apply for an after the fact permit, and it was denied because we were accused of clearing the property to the left. Wasn't us.
Who owns the property to the left?
I don't know.
Well,
I know who owns it now,
Now.
but I don't know who owned it at the time.
right.
I think what happened is the person who owned it died, and it was up for sale.
Okay, what say the city?
All right, this was a citizen's complaint opened on April 11th of 2024. They cleared a vacant parcel without applying for a permit, and trees were removed. First notification was on April 15th. Compliance was due by April 26th. Last day of reinspection was on the 4th. Result non-compliance. I've been in contact with the owner via email. I do have an email from the building permits and licensing stating that they are denying the after the fact permit because of they cleared the entire lot, okay, without, the proper requirements that were needed.
You need a permit?
If you're gonna be removing trees, you need a permit.
Okay, what kind of trees?
Those trees.
Are those trees all gone?
That's what's left on their parcel.
So is that where all those trees were?
Yes, sir.
So did you remove all those trees?
We removed some trees that were, you know, 4, 5, 6 inches in diameter. And I was under the impression from what I, from research, that was without, I didn't need a permit to
What research?
remove those trees.
What research?
I have,
Educate me, because I got no clue what we're talking about here.
it says, it said that this is from the county. I
Okay.
thought it was county property.
All right, whatever. What'd you find out?
And it says that a tree chest high, 5 inches or 6 inches in diameter could be removed without a permit.
Okay.
And
All right, hang on a second. A tree, chest high, 5 to 6 inches in diameter, can't be removed without a permit. Is that what you said?
it said that it could be removed.
Could be removed.
Could be removed without a permit.
Okay.
Is
Anything
that-
over than that, I take it, you're not allowed to move.
Right.
All right,
And
so
we-
did you
and
remove
look at the
anything over and
pictures,
above that?
And you look at the pictures on the right side of that thing, there's some bigger trees. And we didn't
Yep.
remove those because they were much bigger than 5 or 6 inches in diameter. On the left, those 3 trees are not on the property, but we didn't remove them either because they were bigger than 5 or 6 inches. The stuff in the middle that was standing was removed. There are some laid down trees that
And
were
they
dead.
were either laid down or they were below your 5 to 6 inch diameter.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. First off, what's the city of Daytona Beach ordinances regarding tree removal?
But you have to have a permit to, if it's a vacant lot, okay, and you're getting ready to build a home or whatnot, you need to come in there and apply for a permit, okay, to put a residence out there. They would then come out there to inspect it and let you know what can stay, what kind of tree is gonna stay, or what all can go. According to the building department, they went out there and they cleared their parcel, a vacant parcel, without a permit. And they cleared everything. You can clear all the underbrush off of a vacant parcel. Okay, all the underbrushes growing up, weeds, stuff like that, but you cannot knock down trees.
Okay, what constitutes a tree as far as the city of Daytona Beach is concerned? That can't be removed without a permit.
Well, apparently, according to Mr. Cecil with the permits and licensing, I can't speak for him directly, but all I can say is what he has here for me.
Okay, based on the evidence presented, I find that the respondent is in compliance. You're done.
Thank you. And can I get my after-the-fact permit so I can finish? I only cleared 30 of the 50 feet. I have more to clear.
I said you're in compliance. I don't know that there's a need for an after-the-fact permit at all.
Oh,
I mean, as long as you're going to continue doing nothing more than what you're doing, and it sounds to me as though what you're doing is maintaining a vacant lot, and we've had many a respondent in here that we have cited for failure to maintain a vacant lot, like my poor cherished old high school Father Lopez, which is now nothing but a vacant lot. In any event, I digress. And I have not heard any testimony that indicates that you did anything to exceed the standards in this community when it comes to regulations, so to speak, regarding what constitutes a tree to be removed with or without a permit. So that having been
Well,
said.
Mr. McKelvey, you didn't give me a chance to answer you in terms of our code. However, I was just trying to make sure I narrowed it down, but there is a general answer to tree removal that it does require a tree removal permit under 3.4 subsection L of our code. And what that says under subsection 1 is it speaks to purpose, and then so the purpose of the section is to ensure protected trees on parcels of land subject to land disturbing or construction activities that are regulated under the code are not cut prior to submittal of an application for development permit review under the code. And I can read that again slower if you need me to.
No, you can read it as slow as you want. All I heard was construction purposes, and I haven't heard any testimony here regarding construction purposes at all. I can understand a permit for tree removal to make sure no more trees are removed from the envelope of a building than are absolutely necessary. I understand all that, but that's not what we're talking about here.
No, subject to land disturbing or construction activities requires a development permit.
Land disturbing?
Oh, that's what it says.
Okay, as far as I'm concerned, you're in compliance.
Thank you, sir.
Now, I don't know where that leaves you as far as a permit, need for a permit or what have you. That's over my pay grade. And I guess if you cross the line, I'll be seeing you again.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank
Good
you.
luck to you. Case number 11 is in compliance. Case number 12 is in compliance. Case number 13, 3 Oaks Inn, LLC. Not seeing a respondent. What say the city?
All right, this case was field generated and opened on April 15th of 2024. Overgrown vacant lot with trash and debris. First notification was on April 22nd of 2024. Property was posted. Compliance was due by May 2nd of 2024. Last day of reinspection was June 10th of 2024. Result non-compliance. There's been no contact from the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Okay. Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the testimony of our inspector and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance, and order the respondent to come into compliance by July 3, 2024, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter.
Thank you.
Case number 14, Virgil and Ellen Rosenfeld Family Trust, dated June 22, 2005. Well, I have a hypothetical question here. So if I know of somebody that cut down a magnificent pine tree that one of our local eagles would hang out on the top of, cut the thing down. There's an existing residence on the property already. Cut the tree down. And then on top of that, just left it laying there on the ground in chunks. That sounds like something that would probably violate your ordinance, notwithstanding the absence of any construction activity. It would definitely exceed the county regulations that he mentioned. It's food for thought.
There are also statutory, on types of trees. We didn't really speak to types of trees, but there's statutory requirements as relate to certain types of trees as well.
Okay, I digress. Yes, sir, if you would please state your name and be sworn.
My name's Daniel Rice. I'm with Professional Property Management of Florida, LLC, and we manage the building at 419 North Wild Olive.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, I have that this matter was continued from a May hearing, that we were to hear a progress report and to establish a compliance date. Are you here to give me a progress report?
Yes.
What is the progress?
Our permit was pulled. There's a major section and a lesser section of the west wall that needs to be repaired. We're well along on the major section of that. Most of the structural damage has been patched. That's the minor section they show there. Most of the major section has been patched. We're right coming up on when we're going to have an inspection before we put the fine. They'll check our construction, okay it before we move on. I have a picture of that. May I share that?
You're fine, go ahead. Okay. So this is what, the front of the house?
No, that's the front of the house. The picture on the screen. That's the back of the house where all the damage is.
This is the back of the house.
That's the back. That's the west wall where there was.
So what'd you do? Have to take a bunch of stucco down?
Well, the stucco was falling off. We took the bad stucco off. We found a lot of structural damage underneath, and we've spent the last 2 weeks repairing all the structural damage underneath.
Okay.
When that section of wall is done and when it's stuccoed, then we'll move over to that minor section of wall on the north side of the west wall. And we'll get that there. That's the minor section. The major section that picture I gave you of is to the right of that. That was a larger section that was gone, and that's the section we addressed first.
Okay.
The structural part now is, it was pretty bad. The water got in the wall and there was a lot of structural damage. That was the bigger issue, not just sticking stucco up.
So like how much wood damage did you have once you took the stucco down?
I'm not an expert at that, but it looked like there was some wood rot, and the plywood was looking pretty bad to me. They tore all that out.
I've always been curious as to what happens to these old stucco houses when
Well-
it's time to take the stucco down and people get to see for the first time what's behind it.
Well, the problem with it, the damage wasn't from leaking through the stucco. The problem was we didn't know the roof was leaking.
Right.
It leaked down through the roof. That's what did the underlayment damage, and that's why the stucco was falling off. So we put a new roof on. That corrected the problem. Now it was going back and fixing the damage that the roof leak caused. And structurally, we're pretty far along with the major section of damage.
All right, so any predictions as to when you're going to be done?
I seems to be moving a little slow to me, but it's getting done every day I go. It's a little more done.
Well, what's the next milestone here? What's the next thing we hope to accomplish?
Well, certainly before the next meeting, we'll have that whole section papered and stuccoed,
Okay.
and then be starting on the other section of wall, the smaller section of wall that you had the picture of.
Around the whole building?
Well, it's only the west wall that was gone.
Okay.
It was, the rest of it's okay. There's a couple little minor repairs on the rest of the building, but they're trivial. Those are major damage issues we had on both sections of the west wall.
Okay. All right.
City believes that there's been good progress. We would like to revisit this property in 60 days.
Come back 60 days from now, give me another progress report?
60 days? I hope 60 days we can go back and be in compliance.
That'd be nice.
Uh,
If not
yeah.
in compliance, maybe we'll at least be able to set a compliance date. All right, thank you for the progress report. I will continue the determination of a compliance date to our August 13, 2024 meeting.
Thank you
Look.
very much.
Here's your picture. Case number 15, Bat Development, LLC. Yes, sir, if you would please state your name and be sworn.
Yes, Timothy D. Hudson, Sr.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, your last name again?
Hudson, Hudson.
All right, this matter is here for the imposition of a fine. Let's hear from the city.
Hey, good morning, Sarah Kirk, Inspector with the city. My credentials are on file. Since the last hearing, well, for one, the permit has been finalized on April 12th of 2024. Mr. Hudson did have a rental inspection. It did fail for missing smoke detectors, but there is a new one rescheduled this month. So we would like to ask to amend to the next cutoff for compliance.
Okay, Mr. Hudson, are you Bat Development LLC?
Yes, sir.
Okay, city seems to think you ought to have it done by July 3rd. What say you to that?
Yes, sir, no problem.
All right. Based upon the testimony I've heard from both parties, I'm going to amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent until July 3, 2024 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Wrap her up. Case number 16, Jacqueline Manning. Anyone here for the respondent?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. If you would please state your name and be sworn.
Charles Farrow, Jr.
Raise your right hand. You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Your affiliation with Jacqueline Manning?
Public insurance adjuster for the client.
Okay. Let's hear from our inspector. Mr. Jones, this member is
Yes.
here for the imposition of a fine.
The respondent was first notified back in February 16th of 2023. At the last hearing on March 12th, 2024, compliance was set for June 5th, 2024. As of last inspection, there has been no change to the property. There's been no progress made. Staff's recommending a fine of $100 a day with a cap of $20,000. As you can see from the photos, there's the past photos when it was originally opened up and photos taken last week. It looks exactly the same.
Where's the young man that used to come in here and tell us that all sorts of stuff was in the works? And
Per the record, going through our IMS system, I didn't see any contact that he had. This was Inspector Alterman's case. He has retired from the department, and that's why I'm taking care of this case. But I could see no contact in the file since the last hearing.
okay, yes, sir. Your name again?
Charles Farrow.
Is it Farrow?
Yes, sir. F is in Florida. ARRO.
Okay, Mr. Farrow, what, if anything, do you have to add to this on behalf of the respondent?
We are in preparation with a general contractor for pulling a permit on that, I guess call it a retaining wall, and for the roof. The carrier and the policy that they had, they have just finally started releasing money to Jacqueline and Sean James, which is her son. The roofers have told me they've been in contact with the client as far as exchanging everything and filing for that permit to start moving on work.
So when are we going to see something happen?
Everything is honestly lined up as far as materials and everything per the contractor I spoke with this morning. My hopes is by the time the money comes in, which this was last Thursday, to where once it processes, the general contractor can go in and get the permits that are needed to start work, hopefully before the start of the next month.
Has anybody made a permit application yet?
To my knowledge, I'm not sure, but I can touch base with the general contractor. He said everything was just ready in order to go. Once we found out from the insurance carrier that money is being released to start the work and the permitting.
There is no permits applications on file as to this date to do any of these repairs.
Thank you.
And we have been at this since February of 23.
Yes, sir. It's been a long process with the carrier. They initially opened up coverage. However, they were holding in escrow because it is a forced place policy. And the brokerage company who is now releasing it, them being the vested interest, they held the money for a substantial amount of time. And that's when the client had hired us to review his file and his claim on his behalf.
And you came to what conclusion?
The conclusion that, it's an insurable loss, everything that has happened from Hurricane Ian. They don't really have grounds, right now to, hold that money in escrow when it's actually needed to do what it's supposed to do. Getting permits and actually getting everything built back up.
So you are where? You're negotiating? You're litigating? What are you doing?
We are negotiating right now, trying to not go to litigation as they just responded and has released some money so the work can begin.
Why have they released some monies and what's it for?
For the roof is the first part to start, because obviously with the amount of damage that came in from the roof, no sense in doing anything until we have the roof permit and everything like that completed, and a COC.
Well, I don't mean to be insulting, but you're the first sign of life in an otherwise desolate claim. So,
Yes, sir.
I'm going to continue the imposition of a fine to the next meeting.
Appreciate it.
If I see some progress being made by you and your people, I'll hold off on fining the respondent. The second you
Understood.
disappear, or the second it looks as though nothing's going to be happening anytime soon, the respondent will be ripe for a fine. So I'll just leave it at that. So
Understood.
So for the time being, I will continue this matter to our July meeting. And we will hope that you can make something happen. Otherwise, we'll just fine it and put it on a shelf.
All right. Thank you for the consideration.
Good luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
This building, 368 Dr. Mary M. Bethune Boulevard, does it have any historic significance, just out of curiosity?
I don't know, sir.
Case number 17, Sussmans Incorporated. Good morning. I'm doing well. You would please state your name and be sworn.
You swear affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Frank, we're here for a progress report to establish a compliance date and permits by June 5th. Okay? So, have we made any progress?
Yes, there's a
What is it?
permit that's been issued for the roof.
Pardon?
There has been a permit that's been issued for the roof.
Okay. Then what's next?
That was a sole issue from Mr. Alderman, was having the roof taken care of.
All right. And when do they start work on the roof?
So hopefully, and they'll start in the next 60 days. It was nice weather until this week.
Is this the main, what is this picture I'm looking at?
This is a separate, standalone, unoccupied storage building that's empty, and that's what that building is.
And that is what, behind the Sussmans on Seabreeze?
It's behind it, correct. It's not contiguous, as it separate.
Is that the building we're dealing with?
Correct.
Okay. So we're not dealing with the Sussmans on Seabreeze?
Correct. That, all those issues were taken care of, and according to the testimony, Mr. Alderman, were completed.
All right, so you have your permit and you are anticipating beginning construction on the roof within the next 60 days. Is that building occupied?
No, it hasn't been occupied probably in 20 years.
What say the city?
We are fine with giving them time to get the roof done. They did pull the permit. It was issued on June 3rd. If they're looking at 2 months to come into compliance, we have no problem with that.
Okay. Sound like a plan?
It does.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Then, based upon the progress and the obtaining of the roofing permit, and my understanding is the scope of the work remaining to be done, I will amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent until August 7, 2024 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate or consideration of fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Good luck to you.
Have a nice day.
Is that building functional?
It's a storage building, so we have no idea what.
What was it? I guess it was just used for storage.
It was used for boxes, clothes that came in and stuff. We kept it, so empty boxes.
Okay, all right, good luck to you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too. Case number 18, Daytona Beach Resort LLC and Daytona Beach Resort and Conference Center Condominium Association, Inc.
Good morning, Mr. Special Magistrate. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
This is Chris West for Daytona Beach Resort. I have not been sworn. Can do so at this time if appropriate.
I'm sorry, but you're kind of coming across with a bit of an echo. Can you say that again?
Chris West for Daytona Beach Resort. I have not been sworn, but I can be. We did not receive notice on this hearing. We just found out last night that there was a hearing today by virtue of a link that was sent. So our counsel is not here, but I can give any update to the best we can. But we've neither us nor our counsel saw notice for the meeting today.
Are you an attorney?
I am an attorney. My role is in-house. I'm general counsel for Daytona Beach Resort, but we have outside counsel that's more familiar with the city code. That's Tina Garcia. She's the counsel of record.
All right. Well, in any event, I guess we just need to state names. Is that about right? Yeah. Looks like we have nothing but attorneys here, with all due respect to attorneys. All right, we have Mr. West and?
Leanne Wagner for the Condominium Association.
Okay, this matter is here for the imposition of a fine, damaged columns, dilapidated balcony, peeling paint, damaged, cracked, or broken concrete on exterior and interior of parking garage, dirt and grime. All right, Mr. Yates, you're probably going to have to backfill me with a little bit of history, but tell me what we're here on and why.
All right, this case was, they were first notified November 6, 2021. Since the last hearing, a permit was granted in April. They've informed me that they're finishing their bidding process. What we'd like to do is amend the compliance date to the August hearing, and at that date, we'd like to have them give us their complete schedule for the work, and that work will have commenced by that point, or we'd like to have a fine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The common area owner is who I was speaking of, as Daytona Beach LLC.
All right, Daytona Beach LLC is the common area. Refresh my memory, was
Resort,
that pool in the area around the pool?
It's the parking garage, the pool area, the seawall, and I believe everything that's not the units and the halls of the units.
Everything that's not the units and the halls of the unit.
Correct.
Okay. And then Daytona Beach Resort and Conference Center Condominium Association Incorporated is you.
Correct.
And you are the residential area.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. All right. So now you said something about somebody has a permit?
Yes, both of them have permits.
Both of them have permits.
Yes.
To do what?
Repairs to the garage, puncture shearing, I believe, and then balcony repairs that have continued to expand, unfortunately, now into the...
Repairs what, fall under the residential?
Correct.
And the garage falls under Daytona Beach Resort LLC?
Correct.
And Daytona Beach Resort LLC has the permit to do the garage work?
Yes.
And when is that expected to start?
We're asking them that it needs to start by August, and we need to have a construction schedule.
And when we're talking about the garage, we're talking about the 5 or 6 story garage structure.
Correct.
We're not worried about parking lots elsewhere on the property.
No, sir.
Okay. All right. And none of what you're talking about right now includes the balconies?
No. The balconies are continuing to progress under permit. Unfortunately, the work has once again expanded, and they've even moved to the interior of some units, but they continue to
And
progress.
that comes under the condo association.
Correct.
So the condo association has the permits it needs
Yes.
for the balcony work, and having gotten into it, they're finding out the work's going to be more extensive than anticipated.
Yes, it's about the 5th time we've expanded the scope, unfortunately, but they're doing the
Well,
work.
it sounds like the association, obviously they're an interested party, but they're not pertinent.
Well, they were also cited. Yes.
They were
Yes.
also cited
Yeah.
for what?
The damaged balconies are part of this.
Okay. All right. So we have two matters, I'm going to call it the garage and the residential areas.
Yes.
Okay. The garage, they have the permit. You would like, I wrote it down. You would like them to start by August, and you would like a construction schedule. Did I hear that right?
Yes.
All right, so that's the garage.
But to be clear, I'm asking for a construction schedule with hard dates, not something that's giving like in the next 4 weeks this will happen. I want the actual schedule.
Okay. All right, and what are you requesting with regard to the condominium association?
That they continue to work and move forward as they have.
Okay. Now, all right, and is Daytona Beach Resort LLC and the condo association already subject to orders of compliance?
Yes. Yes.
So what we're talking about is amending pending orders of compliance as to each of these respondents to address these matters.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Okay. So let me go to the condo association first. What, were they supposed to be done by now?
Yes. Yeah. Initially, we were supposed to be done around Thanksgiving.
All right,
But-
so do you have a proposed date I'm supposed to suggest to them by which they should now be coming into compliance?
August.
And I don't know if that is possible.
Hey, slow down,
Okay.
Kimasabi, slow down. Everybody's ready to jump in there today. All right, August 13th, and the cutoff would be August 7th. All right, so as to the condo association, work is underway. We're all in agreement we need to amend the order of noncompliance. You're proposing an August cutoff date, August 7, 2024. Okay, what say you to that?
Thank you. We will continue to use every best effort to be done by then. However, it's my understanding that we had to have custom storefront glass windows ordered to replace what had to be removed to do the concrete work inside 2 units that's now necessary because of the ongoing balcony work. So depending on when those are delivered and installed, I think that's very near the end of the project, and we should be able to complete at that point. I just don't know when they'll be here.
I've heard lots of words and phrases. I haven't heard a date yet.
I don't know if it will be by August. Again, we will use best efforts.
Well, I don't know that the planet will be here in August, but be that as it may,
We don't have a
if
hard date
everything
on it.
proceeds as it has so far, when would you anticipate being done?
I would say possibly September, just because, again, we're hearing nebulous dates. We don't have a hard date from our vendor when they expect those
All right,
windows to
thank
be
you.
ready.
That's all I asked for. He's talking August 7th, you're talking September 4th. Okay. Does it give you any heartburn if I give them to September 4th?
No.
Okay. All right. Am I separating these two respondents out, or am I entering global orders as to both?
You've been doing, the open order is a global order, although they have separate obligations.
All right, well, as pertains to Daytona Beach Resort and Conference Center Condominium Association, Inc., I am amending our current order of noncompliance to allow them until September 4, 2024 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Now, directing our attention to Daytona Beach Resort LLC. Is it Mr. West?
Yes, sir, that's right.
Okay, Mr. West, our inspector. Did I understand you to say you want this garage work to start
Yes.
by August?
Yes.
And you want a construction schedule with hard dates?
Yes.
All right, what say Mr. West to that?
That sounds reasonable. The only thing that's really outside of our control is we are awaiting the general contractor to put together the timeline and schedule, and their final bid and contract, according to my notes. We anticipate having that hopefully this week. But I think that August date is very reasonable for them to have everything together that they need to begin.
So you think you could have this construction scheduled to us by the next cutoff, which would be July 3rd?
That's probably too tight. I like the August date and getting it from them. We'll make our best efforts, but I think that's probably too, based on the fact that there may be other parties that have to look and agree, or there may be some back and forth on the schedules. In other words, if they tell us they want to start in January, we're going to push back and say, no, we need you guys to move faster than that.
Okay. As for the Daytona Beach Resort LLC component of our pending order of noncompliance, I'm amending that order to allow the respondent until August 7, 2024, to commence construction on the garage repairs and to provide a construction schedule including hard dates. Failing either of those, that respondent would be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. That cover everything?
Yes, sir.
Everybody clear on everything?
Yes.
All right, folks, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Case number 19, Lauren and Herb Kawesh. Anyone here for the respondent? Yes, sir. If you would, please state your name and be sworn.
State your name.
Herbert Cowish.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, this matter's here for the imposition of a fine, so let's hear what our inspector has to say.
I wanted to give you this. This is a communication from Mr. Cowish.
And thank you, Inspector Yates, for printing that for me.
Not a problem, sir.
Okay. Mr. Yates, why should I be finding the respondent?
All right. They were first notified May 23rd, 2022. Since the last hearing, the owner has gotten the permit finalized for his stairs. He continues to work on the other portions. I would like to have him come back in August with the permit for the structural work in the rear or face a fine.
So what is left to be done on this saga?
The structural work to the rear building, and then in the laundry room, there's also additional unpermitted work that they're dealing with. That's of a structural nature.
Okay, and how much time should it take to get it done?
I'd like to have him come back in August with the permit.
August with a permit?
Yes.
That sounds gracious.
Well, he did.
August with a permit.
Well.
I mean, I'm just holding up. I'm just feeling the happiness.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Things have been going well lately. They weren't going well before. When someone tries to start acting, I try to give them that benefit of the doubt. And with the contractor reaching out to me and telling me that the reason it's not done is because of him every time, I also extend a little more grace than normal, which is the case here, where he's saying that he had committed to him and he had committed funds to him, but that he's not going to be able to do the work for him. So that's why I'm giving him an additional month and I was in additional planning.
All right, so right now, what you're looking for is the permit for whatever remaining work there is in hand by the August cutoff.
Yes, sir.
All right, what say Mr. Kawesh to that?
I say thank you.
No kidding. Okay, based upon our inspector's recommendation and the consent of the respondent, I will amend our current order Okay, we already have an order imposing a fine and a lien in this matter?
Yes. It was for 1 day. He was 1 day late on getting the stairs permitted. He just had to do, basically they came out, there was one small issue that had to be rectified, so for 24 hours he was in non-compliance, and then that went into compliance.
So this was for just a portion of this that's already been
Correct.
brought into compliance?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we still have, if I were to filter my way back here, a pending order of noncompliance that we're in violation of. All right, I will go ahead and amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent until August 7, 2024, to have a permit in hand for whatever work remains to be done. Failing that, return to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Okay, Mr. Kawesh?
Thank you, sir.
Good luck to you, sir.
I have one thing to say.
Yes, sir.
You did such a good job with those Greek names, and after all the time we've been together, Cowish. It's Cowish, not
Cowish.
Cowish.
All right.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
I'm going to work on that. With a name like Kelja, I try to be sensitive to things like that. You have a good day.
You as well.
Case number 20, Delmar Holdings, LLC. Do we have anyone for the respondent? What say the city?
Our respondent was first notified on December 20th of 2023. All right, since the last hearing, I've been in contact with the owner, and he has signed a contract with Gel Recycling to clear up the beach side of that property. So stack to amend to the next cutoff.
What are they doing? Hauling off concrete chunks?
Yes, sir, and removing the remaining seawall out of there. Getting all the concrete debris, rebar exposed, off that area.
Is the trash, for lack of a better word, that the respondent needs to remove, does any of that go east of the seawall?
No. Yeah, well, no, everything from the high water in, they're going to clear in. They're going to clear up.
Okay, very good. All right. I'm sorry, what did you say, next cutoff?
Yes, sir.
All right, noting the absence of the respondent based upon our inspector's report, I will amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent until July 3, 2024 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 21, Ernestine Johnson. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, respondent was first notified on March 14th of 2024. Since the last hearing, there's been no contact or progress. Staff requests a fine of $250 a day with a max of $15,000.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I'm finding the respondent the sum of $250 per day. Effective June 6, 2024, with the fine to continue. That's $250 per day to a maximum of $15,000. The fine to commence June 6, 2024, and the fine will continue to accrue until the property is in compliance or the amount of the fine has reached the sum of $15,000. Okay, I think I totally trashed that. You understand what I'm saying? Very good, thank you. Case number 22, Philip Guillaume. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent. What say the city?
All right. Respondent was first notified on April 8th of 2024. Since the last hearing, no contact or progress has been made. Staff requests a fine of $250 a day with a max of $15,000.
Noting the absence of the respondent based upon the inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I'm fining the respondent the sum of $250 per day commencing June 6, 2024, and the fine will continue to accrue each day thereafter until the property is in compliance or the amount of the fine has reached the sum of $15,000.
All right, thank you.
Case number 23 is in compliance, and we've already done our lien review. Do we have any miscellaneous business to be brought before the special magistrate? Seems like I had a question. Already discussed my tree issue. Jacqueline Manning, 368 Dr. Mary M. Bethune Boulevard. They are looking to get the insurance money to work on the property, and the first thing they plan on doing is the roof. Our notice of compliance says, repair damaged wall, remove exterior bricks and debris on site. Have we taken a left-hand turn here on this case that I didn't know about? I mean, I'm all for them fixing the property, and I didn't want to bring it up right then and there because I was a little caught off guard, but I don't see where the roof is part of the notice.
No, originally they said they weren't allowed to do any work until they got their insurance adjuster out there. I do not know why the property has remained in such disarray with the wall, and you could see from the photographs, I mean, they have parts of stairwells hanging down. They're using yellow tape to block off the stairwell. That's why the city had been looking towards getting some solution to that to correct it.
Did he imply that there was some order of construction that would make the roof the principal starting point?
Yes, that's what he stated, that doing the roof first, and then they'd be able to work on the exterior repairs. So I don't know for sure what that has to do with the wall.
I just didn't notice, I didn't know if anything needed to be amended, given it sounds like they're getting into areas that we hadn't specifically mentioned, but that's up to y'all. Very good. We're adjourned.